quickly, how much harder is Cash going to be, if at all?
I don't think the map
Quick
matters.
prediction, essentially.
I don't think the map matters this much, to be honest.
Could be the friggin' Aztec, and I feel like SK is just going to get pounded because nothing's going their way right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to give a prediction.
Vendetta?
It definitely feels like worst players are the better team on the server right now.
Well, Hellraisers did beat SK on it 16-5, so maybe worse players can fulfill something similar. We will see. We are going to head into that match and head over to Henry G and Sadakist.
Do we want to start a new hashtag?
Which one?
Well, like, is that like Cadian like admitting that he thinks his old team, he doesn't want to say it publicly, that he thinks they're going to lose? Just like, I'm not going to make a prediction.
So what's the hashtag?
Cowardly Cadian.
Yeah, we could do that. I don't think it's got as much pizzazz as the last
Rip
one.
Cadian, yeah. I mean, it sounds like everyone's in agreement that worst players are the better players right now, and SK is struggling severely. I mean, this is. I don't even know how you address it. I mean, a team that's been together this long, that's had some highs and lows, peaks and valleys, this might be the lowest we've seen them in a while. This is very stale.
Well, one more map could separate them from crashing out of the tournament or taking to a third. But I have to say, from what I saw on Cash earlier, I'm not feeling too comfortable for them. And Simple, this is one of the maps he does really kick off on, especially on the T side as well. We saw it when he's in Liquid as well. On that T side of AWP played, is opening the map towards middle, towards the A storage, just making absolute nightmares.
I'm going to be curious as well to see how much of the similar strategy they do run. It looks like we're right into this, though. Crush is going to be the utility player on the terrorist side. Doesn't have a Kevlar purchase, so no armor for him. It's the same for Asilian, who has the kit and a smoke on the CT side. I'm going to be curious to see how much of the squeaky doors sort of lurk strategy that they try and implement on this worst player's side that comes from the Liquid style that Simple was with. As a decoy goes in, not a flash, to try and throw off Freeze inside of that smoke. He doesn't have quite the gap to see toward the vent, and therefore it has to give it up and rotate back around, get toward Heaven. There's two players on the side of the site for SK trying to hold it off. Fix is going to find the first kill on Amadi, though, and they're going to push forward. Headshot position. They can't find the kill immediately. He does decent damage to Asilian, but going down in the end, the result's all the same.
Aggressive from Simple at the end, and they're going to be another clean sweep there on the pistol. SK did look like they had something to work with after getting the initial kill, but the Beast Blade coming in from worst players looked very easy for them in the end. Just getting into that site, making every kill happen. There's a flurry of frags coming in their favor, and there it is, a 1-0 in favor of the worst players. It's not looking any better here for SK. They lost to both pistols on Mirage. It's looking like maybe a similar case here. Won't be a force. Oh, there is. Okay, there is sort of a force buy here. They're going to potentially have two players on towards that AWP as Pimp and Freeze. Not investing in armor this time. Simple going aggressive towards middle. He's boosted up. Shoots out the vent, and there's going to be a CT waiting for him as well. It's going to be a Cillian. Not going to be facing just yet. Oh, does decide to have a little face there. That's dancing with the devil for sure, considering there's an AK waiting up there for him. But here we go then. Very default mentality from worst players. It's going to be holding up and seeing what is available for them. And looking like they'll be edging towards the A sides. At this point, they've got a couple of smokes. Smoke towards highway, maybe towards quad as well, and just work as a unit and take over the bomb site. Doesn't really have to be too complicated at this point. Simple, of course. He'll be the first player coming in. He's looking unbelievably sharp right now, so we'll see whether he can step up. There's the first smoke. Looks like there may be a gap in that, but we'll see. Pimp looking to do some damage to that Deagle.
Pimp's going to try and hold the off angle in behind the forklift as well with the Deagle. Fix takes down Freeze. Crush, Simple, Fix again. Villain. No, I can't do it. It's supposed to close it out so simply, if you know what I mean. That leaves Asilian to grab a gun. A Simple Galil to try and use in the next round. They didn't quite get in position out toward the long A corridor, I guess. We don't really have a name for that back garage, I guess. We just call it long A from the other way around. But it is going to be him getting into the mid garage. They know exactly where he's gone, but they don't really want to chase him down too committedly here because they obviously want to keep their rifles up, not going for the SMGs on round 2.
Indeed, and so it's the Cillian here with the Galil in hand. He's got head armor as well, so saving this could be interesting, I guess. They're not going to have much to work with into the next round. His teammates definitely can't justify purchasing anything, so it looks like he will survive here. And after the force in the second, you would assume they can't really justify much. So this one, so Peter 50 to 5-7 on Magic Boy, and the rest of his teammates on USPs. It's a pretty simple affair there for worst players. Default into the simple A strategy, and as predicted, heavily went in their favour. As we're going to round number 3 now. So to Asilian, he's got the Galil and the head armour, so not going to be too effective against the AKs, but there is a UMP in the hands of the terrorists, and maybe he did come up against him, so could have something to work with, I guess, trying to find some sort of silver lining here. But The fast boost comes in, and it's Sicilian actually pushing towards the squeaky door. He's joined by a teammate as well, so not going to have anyone waiting for him. So this could be a free kill on towards Arch. I think it actually will be, somehow he doesn't get it, though. Okay.
Well, does leave the gun for Majestic to grab and try and hold further still, but this will encourage them to go back toward the vents and over toward the B site. 2 players inside originally, but Pimp's almost caught outside of the site by that. Smoke drawn by Crush allows him to get back in without being shot. Fix is going to go down to Pimp. Thankfully gets back in that position, but it's Philin immediately to follow up. And Magic's boy caught in no man's land. Arch was just camping, waiting, stargazing, and then killing.
Round number 4. The gun round begins.
I usually go stargazing and then killing too. Don't go on a date with me stargazing, obviously, Henry.
Don't go on a date with you full stop. I'd actually give
Well,
them
that seems to be the trend lately.
Oh, that's really sad. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's going to be the first gun round here. Looks like something pretty basic coming in from worst players. 5 of them actually committed towards the B storage. This means they have to commit pretty quickly. They can't actually justify holding up in the default. They have no idea what kind of ground the CTs have gathered on the other side of the map. So smoke comes in to slow them down, but doesn't look like they'll be apprehensive here. Molotov towards the checker room. Flashbang comes through. Philin to go in first. The AWP is not going to be there, though. It's going to be Modi. Boosted up, looking for the kill with a Fama save. That's a one and done position. He can't really do much with that one. And I say one and done, he gets 2 for his trouble, so better than I thought. But still, B-bomb save has been given over towards the terrorist. A lot of work to do here as the CTs don't have kits.
Crush gonna plant this comfortably. But as you say, CT's no kits, man advantage. They need to find a pick fast. 3 working from tree side, 1 out toward middle. That's gonna be watched by Philin if he even tries to dare go through those vents. And it has to be blown out on entry, which means noise trigger quite easily solved. Flash toward freeze. Crush, better position, but headshot wins for Magisk. Simple responds with 1, but there's your 2 follow-up picks. Easily done. Simple and Philin found immediately, and Pimp coming through late actually did win that duel straight up before he even had to drop inside of the vents.
Well, there it is then. SK Gaming winning the retake. Like we said, they had the man advantage, had to wait for the rotations to come in, and it was actually a very efficient take from them. It was worst players kind of went for the yellow strat there. It was the first gun round. They thought the CTs potentially didn't have a full array of utility in terms of incendiaries, and we saw they didn't have any kits there, so they just went towards the 5 players towards B. It's not really traditional, but just pushing through the smoke, hoping for the best. Like I said, Modi in that position up towards heaven. Shouldn't have got 2 out of that, but he did, and that was pretty much a separating factor there. So it's going to be 3-1 in favour of worst players, but this is still a dangerous position for SK Gaming. Losing this round would be the full reset. They have got the AWP, but so has Simple. This is what we called out at the start of the game. This is when he really did some serious work at the major. He was very influential getting them in that top 4 position. I'm talking about Team Liquid, of course. And we're going to, this is more of a default here, so you can see map spread out. 2 players towards the A side of the map. It's actually going to be Fix going towards the squeaky door. A lot of teams will try and work the first pick there with flashbangs and opening that door and seeing if they can even just spot a CT there, but they actually got 3 players towards the middle. It's going to be Pimp, maybe calling for the counter boost here, as they do get the second smoke in. It's listening out for footsteps right now. Yeah, here it is. It's caused the Sicilian over, so they will be going for this first kill. The Crush waiting for them on the other side.
Crush waiting for them on the other side, plus a boost up. 3 players actually there right now. This is, oh, well, Pimp just walks over and finds Simple, and Arch falls back down, takes down Crush as well. He had to get the exit on that.
Yeah, really nice stuff from Pimp there. Perfectly timed. And he actually gets Simple with the AWP as well. So that should be the round secured at this point, surely, as Fix has found a kill on towards the Sicilian. That's 1 back in favour of worst players, but still surely not going to play this one. Oh, it looks like they're trying though. Philin finds the kill towards Headshot and B. 3 on 2. This is getting a little bit scary now. They still have a smoke to play of and a flashbang. That goes towards CT spawn. There's no one actually in the B side whatsoever. Looks like they'll be boosting up and towards events as well. So that smoke's actually pretty clever. That's taken away the vision from the CTs. They can't decide who's getting boosted up here still.
It's all right.
Will be Fix.
You go. No, you go. No, you go. See? That's why I wanted you to go Fix. I didn't want to die.
Well, his Magist boy actually reading that pretty nicely. The bombers get planted. Pretty much all they could hope for in this situation. Considering it's 3 versus 1, but Philin still doing some serious work here. Gets Frisk, and now he's got the opportunity to get a second. They face at the same time and lock down the round. That was a big one for SK, as we said. Had they lost it, it would have been the full reset and potentially opened up the window even further for worst players here, but they managed to win it, and it's this play from Pimp that gets them into the round. Perfectly timed. They've got grenades in their hand and AWP on the other side. There's nothing they could do. This was the shot that secured the round, though. Takes down Crush, who's waiting for the rotation. And still money available for worst players. That bomb definitely helps the situation. Simple back on the AWP as well. Lack of utility, but you know what? Simple doesn't care. He wants to go for the picks and open the map up. I guess they got a little bit unlucky with the timings there on the boost.
Marty. Well, Flash down from B is going to go for the fast peek. Didn't spot anyone up there, although there was a little bit of aggression from Simple on that AWP. Nade out does do damage to Philin and Crush. That's inside of the A main position, and it's a boost in the corner. Now the question is Crush far enough forward to have heard that jump? Highway smoke already deployed. No others inside A just yet. They'll likely go for the white box bounce toward top highway as well. Flash through. Now they need to check it. Crush just sees it at the end, and thankfully so, because they overlooked it originally. That flash saved them. And now Philin's going to find Freeze, and this follows up to bring the bomb in the site quite convincingly and clearly planted wide for A main.
Should be a pretty simple round now for Worst Game, as you can see. 5 on 3. CTs will be deciding to save now. It was a very nice play there from the Ukrainian side, smoking off towards highway, and then it's that boost. It actually worked out very well for SK in the first game against Hellraisers. They managed to get a couple of frags on that one. It's a full flashbang effect for Motorsport. It takes him out of the round. Doesn't manage to find a single kill that opens up the floodgates, and Worst players capitalize, take over the site, and they're going to keep 5 players alive here as well. So it was a difficult buy for them in terms of the utility left over after getting the AKs and all, but you know what? Only takes 2 kills, and that's the round over. So SK Gaming trying to keep 3 players alive now. I don't think Worst players will be hunting. Their money situation is not exactly ideal. And I guess we'll see what kind of money SK have left over. Saving 3 rifles, you'll soon get the all back out. And this next round is going to be very important indeed, but it will be 4-2 here after round number 6. We'll see whether SK have more than enough to buy, I assume, but I can't tell right now.
Can you tell me what StarLadder.com is? Because they own that dumpster.
That's true. Storage containers. So yeah, they do manage to get something to complement these saved weapons. It's a UMP and a FAMAS. It's not great, but they want to get the utility. And so we've got incendiaries and the smokes as well. So banking on the grenades to help them out rather than the firepower. Another default coming in here from Worst players. It's going to be Modi looking over the top of this smoke here. Going to be flashed out for now. It doesn't really affect him, seeing if he can get anything out of this.
Simple boosted. Smoke to be deployed toward the top of highway once more. He'll fall and then get in favor with that AWP toward the A site. Counter smoke goes out, but it's late, and that flash leaves Freeze in the open. It's Crush to find him. Follows up, can't land the shot though, and Magiskoy, easy to get away. No, Arch just catching him through the edge of that smoke. They had him figured out. The AK catches it, and Philin, who waits for the rotation, has done massive damage. Okay, just pre-fire it, and Madi walks back in for you.
Well, big round is pretty much a mirror of what we saw in the last one. Smoke towards highway, takes away that vision from the CTs, and the flashbang just working out perfectly for them. We saw the CT player by Forklift has got fully affected by that one, wasn't able to come out on time, and Philin, like this, it's worked out perfectly for him. Didn't even get the first kill, but like you said, pre-firing it, anticipating the reface, and Modi goes down, and that's pretty much the round secured at that point. And to be 5-2, another eco coming in from SK Gaming, so this is still looking pretty dire for them after they get a couple of rounds. This is what we saw against Hellraisers. They got 2, and then it started to slip away again. Round number 8. More of a default here once again. There are 3 players for SK stacked towards A main. It's going to be Arch to get the first frag. Let's get taken down by Modi though. No refrag in that regard, so they have managed to bring it down to a 4-4. Obviously still heavily favours the terrorist here, but they have got something going on. You can see Pimp is pushed up in mid-warehouse as well, so if they were to rotate, maybe he could find something out of this.
Fix. Clears out lockers, gets in position at A main. The question is right now, how does the exchange go between both Philin and Madi? Well, pretty straightforward. He goes down immediately. And a tag and then a kill onto Asilian as well. Simple's going to jump inside the site with the AWP and get up toward the catwalk. That way he can watch off for the rotation at highway, but it's actually just Pimp that's going to grab some weapons and try and save this. He may pick up another kill on Philin as well, because he's gone extremely low.
Yeah, well,
he knows he hasn't crossed, and he knows he was in A main, so he should check this corner. Yeah, he's going to. Smart process of elimination, Henry.
yeah, an educated guess. But there it is. It's going to be 6-2, and we do have another buy coming for SK Gaming now. Of course, Frizz back on the up. I want to see him get more aggressive now, Matt. He's on 2 for 7 right now. He needs to be dominating these rounds. He needs to be finding these first picks. Let's get him in towards B storage. Let's push towards A main. Let's get the first pick and stop letting Worst players do exactly what they want every single round. It seems like they're just getting towards that mid storage area, smoking towards highway, and is having their way with the CTs on towards the A site. It's going to be filling out, smoking off towards the B storage, taking that vision away from the CTs. Modi once again looking to boost up on the smoke. There'll be flash for now. This could be problematic as Molotov is landing near him as well, but should be able to get a kill here. Oh my, okay, no. Okay.
I take it back, and I'm sorry.
Why did I think that was going to happen?
Well, Phillin's going to watch this event. This is his assignment every single time they get toward the B site. I don't know why they blew that out.
This is like the round over at this point. They've got the bomb down. There's no kits once again for the CTs. They're getting smoked out. Unless they can find a kill in the next, like, 5 seconds or so, they don't really have much ground to even attempt to retake.
Thix takes down Freeze.
Yeah, this is over.
Like you were saying, yep, 7-2 now is going to be our score. Flash in. Pimp can't do anything with this. He's going to have to keep this M4. And they've got some decent utilities, plus armor on all 3 to keep up. It's a decent reinvestment.
I'm just wondering what the mentality of Modi is there. Like, it's such a high-risk move from him, just pushing to the B storage by himself there. If he gets 1 kill and fall back, sure, this is great, but as soon as worst players should have more than 1 player there, if he doesn't find at least 1 kill, it's just a round over. He's got no one else to back him up, and he's just taken down by himself. There's no synergy there. There's no teamwork going on. He's just there, B storage by himself. Most teams, the top teams in those positions, I'm trying to think of a decent example here. Who would be like a very good example of Tony? I think NRP actually are very good there. It's Forest and Freiburg combo towards that B storage area. That's perfect. You have them baiting in each other and like having lots of distractions. Freiburg will be waiting for checkers and like taking aggro away from Forest when he has the AWP. That's how you should be playing that map. You shouldn't that part of the map. You shouldn't have to just have 1 player by himself that committed. It doesn't really make sense. The best you can do is get 1 kill and die.
Yep.
But yeah, NRP is a good example. They're very good at that.
Yes, very disciplined under the leadership of Threat. Simple AWP out toward the doorway with Fix to play with. Freeze on the inside by the fence. We can see it with our wall hacks. As Magic's, though, that's too easy. Door open. Simple goes for a slow, dry peek without any utility. The rifle player could have held that angle while he holds highway. Fix is going to burn Magic's alive, thankfully, but he's gotten 2 kills out of that.
Yep, that will do for now. 4 on 3. Still, these rounds have been very problematic. The good news is they have taken down Simple, though. Still 2 Famises, and it looks like it will be an A-sided attack here. We have got Arch towards that main entrance. Frisk does manage to pick up the risky orb there. I'd say that was a difficult decision for him to go in and get it, but he does manage to salvage the weapon. Does boost their chances of winning this round. Like I said, he's been very quiet so far. Hasn't been impactful. I don't know that killer instinct I like to see from the top AWPers on this map. Here come the smokes onto the A sides, and this will be the play now. Decent Molotov from Frisk, but that's all he's going to do as he drops straight away.
Waiting, good pickup. Found the only gap in the smoke and held it.
Yeah.
And Pimp walked directly into it with the bomb now down. And Molotov out and toward the truck side as well. There's a gap to sneak up the wall, but this is going to be desperate. Wadi's going for it. Philin knows he's crossed. Art should get the read on this. They've got a cross set for it. Baits what he can by throwing the FAMAS, grabbing the M4, goes for the duel. Does actually pick it up. God forbid that forklift still exists, but Philin now the last alive as well. Molotov out. They're going to do this. That's surprising with Modi getting that aggressive toward the forklift position.
Yeah. Just what they needed, I have to say. SK Gaming up against it with that retake 3 on 2, but they managed to make it happen. Sicilian getting 2 and Modi getting 1, and it's so much money in favor of the terrorists. They're still not out of the woods just yet. It's going to be a difficult buy getting back into this round, but still, they did what they had to, and they actually had the man advantage going into that situation, so it's going to be a sigh of relief to actually win that retake. We go to round number 11. And this would be a hard reset for them once again, so they need to start winning some rounds in a row here. And Simple's got a decent spawn towards the middle. We'll be going straight up at the face here. Going to be smoked out, luckily for the CT, so they will be able to gain some control of middle here. Going to be heavily flashed, though. They're not really sure what's going on. The terrorists aren't committing, though. So they'll be heading towards A once again. Player boosted towards middle. He'll be holding up the flanks and possibly backstabbing. Once the air attack comes in, you can see they have no presence towards the B storage whatsoever, so they pretty much have to commit to this. They have no idea whether the CT's coming in their backs now. You assume something really quick coming in.
Magis. Success against Crush. Fire from Magis is also going to burn alive Arch. So great start to the round as he picks up his 3rd now onto Fix. And he's still just sitting in this A site. Simple needs to desperately find a pick, or this is going to end in tears. That bomb's committed. It's down inside of the site. Philin's going to go instead with the AK. Checks the corner correctly. Does find the kill. No counter push back through the smoke, though, from the CT side, rather. And Simple hits Magic. So now they've actually done this 2 versus 2.
What?
Whatever, Simple. Whatever.
Just when it looked like Magiska just done enough there. It looks like it's going to fall apart, but Modi not going to be backing down just yet, but it's not going to be enough. He gets the first kill on towards Simple. Philin takes him down. That's another, what was it, 5 on 2?
Now it's 5 on 2. 4 on 2.
4 on 2. Okay, well, not as bad, but still. Magisboy's got to be pissed at that one. The fact he did so much work there, and it was such a crucial round for SK Gaming. That's the reset coming in. I think they need to take a pause at that point. You can see them shaking their heads on your screen just there. Pimp's got his head in his hands. Oh no, that's Frizz, sorry. But still, not a good time for SK Gaming right now. This will be one of the... If they were to crash out in this tournament in this sort of fashion, this would be probably the worst tournament we've ever seen from them, I would say. Ever. And that's saying something.
Yeah. Well, Pimp's going to get desperate, and doesn't really pay off, does it? Simple rejects him like any girl does with a desperate man, Henry. Not that I know anything about that.
No?
No personal experience.
Could have fooled me. But,
Philin going to lob out a Molotov in behind the vent. Now that does clear it out, so when they do go through, it's only one more spot to clear, and that is exactly that. Behind the box with the second Molotov, they just have to worry about the site itself. Madi's here, but he's 7 HP with this pistol. He could find one headshot. That's not even going to happen. Crush lands it, and you can try and retreat all you like, but Arch is waiting. Waiting in the wings. 9-3 for worst players. SK is on the brink here, I would say.
they have money to buy into this round. I'm not sure how strong the buy is. I can see an AWP on the back of Frizz there. So the thing is, once again, if you're an AWP on this map, you need to be doing something. You need to, like, when you're losing every single pick and you're relying on someone to get 3 or 4, that's Magist Boys actually seems to be the only one fragging right now. He's got 10 kills, and Frizz is on 2 for 11. He's the AWP. That should not be the storyline. He should be going in there, finding the first picks, making it difficult for them. He's supposed to be a world-class AWP. Like, he's one of the big names of the team. So far, he really has done absolutely nothing. I don't think he's got an AWP kill, I'm not sure. But we'll see what he can do around number 13. It's simple, just look how aggressive he is. He's so confident right now. Just leading the charge with his AWP, checking every single angle here towards middle. He's going to be smoking out towards connectors. The first one was a dud. And he will be scouting up towards highway here. Frizz is changing his position now, a little bit more aggressive towards the A storage. He's going to be presented with Arch. We'll see whether we'll be able to take him down here. Come on, Frizz. We need something here.
You can do it, I believe.
Something to work with. A crush. There it is. First, well, okay, Modi, you got to get those kills, son. That's got to happen. Can't be missing those ones. There it is.
Oh, that's much better. That's much better. He's normally good in this A side as well, so Freeze stepping up as needed is going to put them in another 4 versus 2. No simple alive this time. It's Fillin and Fix. I keep wanting to call Fillin Flippin, the Spanish player. Shoulder peek from Fillin. Does bait out the shot. Freeze going to change his angle slightly. Gets across. But can he get much more further than that? Freeze not able to land it. Bombs up.
He just needs to fall back here. Why is he risking his frag?
Or where's the support? Magic is extremely low. They can't play off of each other. Thankfully, he's got away from it.
It just looks like he's just trying to boost his own confidence and trying to finish that last frag off. He just needs to stay alive. If he drops that AWP and just dents the economy even further, that's so detrimental to them. They need to be thinking of the bigger picture here, but they are going to be in this 4 versus 1. Surely Fitting can't do anything with this. Of course, he gets the first frag. At least they do damage this time, and there it is. The final frag does come in. It's Frizz, who does step up this round finally. Getting a little bit more aggressive, as I said. Trying to actually challenge those first picks, not allowing worst players to actually get into the bomb site with the smokes and everything they actually want to do, which eradicates him from the round. He needs to be up there, taking them down. We saw the rounds that have been working out for SK when they're doing the boost towards middle. It's Pimp finding 2 kills, and they're pushing into aggressive towards A main. It's when Frizz can come to life as well. It's more of this is what you need as the SK team. You need to actually being assertive and actually allowing the tactics to be fully executed every single time. Here comes the boost again. They've already realised now, well, we're getting wrecked every single default, so why don't we just try and take the game towards them. There it is again. Frizz gets the first kill. Once again, aggressive towards A main. They're starting to learn that. The coach is doing some work here, and Pimp boosting over. It's all working now.
Starting to. He wins the duel as well against Crush, so they've got good positioning here. Fillin does get the bomb freed up, though. They can run back over and grab that, but another 4-on-2 situation. Although they gift one away as Magic walks from the forklift into vision of the doorway and finds Fix trying to praw his way through it. Cillian closing it. Fillin can't do much. 9-5. SK, though, this CT side with only 5. I mean, I guess statistically speaking, the map, as of the major, and again last weekend at Pro League, has become 2-sided. So they don't need to panic just yet.
Not just yet, but I'd say in terms of the landscape of the tournament as a whole, maybe it is getting a bit panicky for them. But it's a double AWP setup to finish things off. 9-5, and it's going to be Pimp and Frizz on the AWPs. And this is a setup commonly run, but this hasn't been available for SK so far, considering the rounds that we have been seeing so far and the way they've had their economy. But it's going to be the final of the first half now. 4 players towards the B storage, and we have got Fix. Oh, Pimp did have an opportunity to take someone down there. Has got the smoke to cover him on his retreat. Going to be jumping through a lot of fire here, though, and it's going to be the BXQ coming in.
Oh, it's going to be shut down, though. Pimp gets the first shot on Arch before his vision is gone, taken by that of a flash grenade. Finland's there to take down Asilian again. He watches the vents every single time. That is literally his assignment when they enter. Good Molotov from Crush. Pimp not able to get away from it in time. He will burn and leave his body in the most awkward-looking position that I have ever seen.
He's like doing a head
Corpse
spin.
handstand, yeah. Rigor mortis set in as he was upside down, and he just turned into some sort of stand.
I think he's breakdancing.
Look at that. Oh, he is too. You're right. But Crush gets bombed down, smoke off toward Heaven. That'll limit Magics, and they still have the man advantage as well here, worst players. It's 2 kits up, though. 2 flashbangs and a smoke, 4 freeze to try and walk in, but he's got this AWP. It's not the best on re-entries. He has found Simple, though. Good pick to find, but nothing done of Phil, and no one even looking toward A main.
Double figures here for the terrorist side. You have to say, Matt, the pressure is on for SK Gaming now. This is not their map pick. They go onto the T side. We've already seen it. The executes on Overpass and Cash were distinctively bad. They were almost horrible at some points. I remember being quite angry by them, actually. So let's see what they can do. A must need a pistol once again. They've lost all the pistols so far, and it's not looking like the morale's very high in the camp either. You can see them on your screen right now. No one really discussing things. It's Asilian chiming in every now and then. What they do on the T-pistol here today is go for a straight-up B rush. A lot of confident teams would have to do that and try and stick together at the Glock train and shut down any CT aggression. Or they go for something more executed and try and dissect the map piece by piece. Time will tell, Matthew. Time will tell.
Time does reveal all, Henry. Including my evil plan.
What is that?
Don't worry about it, Henry.
Here we go then. Matt, are you believing in the SK Magic? I think they might be done.
They're Danish, not Swedish. There is no magic.
They got Magic Boy though.
Yeah, well, he can't even spell it correctly. It's Magisk. I'm sure that's probably correct in Danish, but it's not the point. Flash in. Actually, it doesn't really work out because they blind fix as well. He turned back slightly too soon. Gives the advantage to Magic. He's going to be able to pick up the opening kill. Give SK a chance on this pistol round. Further damage.
God.
Okay.
What?
Okay. What are you made of, my man? This is insanity as he holds this off. And another one. There it is. There's the ace from Simple. He gets all 5. And that is absolute ridiculousness. I was about to say low HP inside of the site. They got the opening pick. That was done and dusted. And Simple just absolutely slaughters them.
5 kills, all headshots. Like, that was better than the Dennis frag we saw the other day. Like, can you believe that? It's not as important, obviously, but in terms of how quickly they came in, like, after the first frag,
it's up
like,
there for sure. Oh,
that's insane.
Okay, never mind.
We didn't see it from his POV, so maybe that was a little bit of overstatement.
I thought he just threw the gun inside the barrel, which used to be an ungrabbable
Did you see
position.
how tilted SK looked after that one? They get the first kill, they do loads of damage, and just Simple comes in with a 5-man, of course. Like, that is insane. I'm glad you got your trademark line in there as well.
Yeah, my trademark line. Arch does spray down, though. It's Simple to pick up 2, a third now. So that's 8 kills in the last 2 rounds. And he's going to push forward as well with this P90. Done and dusted.
Oh my god, I'm still just flabbergasted at that pistol. Well, we go into round number 18. It's going to be Galils and Tech9s here. And this is interesting. They didn't get the bomb down, so they are taking a little bit of a risk here. As we go into this next one.
Yeah, that's big. 9 kills in 2 rounds for Simple. I think he sits at around 19 kills total, so that's about half of his kills in the last 2 rounds of this game.
This could be so detrimental for SK. If this doesn't work out for them, they're in a world of trouble. But let's see what we can do here. Pimp with an opportunity to get that first kill, but it's fixed with the P90. Arch gets the first frag here. Needs to be up to Pimp here to actually do anything with this, but it's fixed with the P90. Gets the double kill, and Simple chiming in as well.
Good entrance, though, from Pimp. He had a chance to actually do much more than that. Unfortunately, the timing was just off. He made the call that he went into that corner, but they couldn't find him in the smoke, and Fix is able to hold true to pick up 2. Simple with 2 more, though, up to 21 now. So he's had, in this 3 rounds, more than he's had in the entire first half.
SK looking down the barrel of crashing out in this tournament in the second game.
Yep, double elimination all the way through. So for both of these teams, every game they play from now on will be for escaping.
Well, they're 1 map down. It's 13-5. They're on a Nico. They do 2 smokes towards middle. Doesn't really make sense. They'll be pushing straight through them. They're hoping to find a kill here, but they actually get the kill on towards Simple. So actually, it kind of works. Crush though, waiting to them CT spawn. Fix gets the first kill here. He actually gets a double, but it's still equal exchanges here. 3 on 3. They're making their way towards the B site. Fiddin's going to be waiting for them though.
pickup from Villain on the first, but Magix is able to respond immediately. This will give them a chance with Bomb inside of the site. They have to recover it slightly. Buys a little bit more time for this rotation. Does put Arch in a position to try and charge the site before it goes down, but that's just suicidal, it seems. But Fix going to try and bend a better angle. Coming in. First kill, very easy. M4 spots that. Oh, I thought he did. I thought he spotted his kneecap. X-Ray's misleading, apparently, because he doesn't. That ends up being a mistake as he looks back toward A main, and it will go the round to SK.
Well, 2 smokes towards middle. I thought they were going to go straight with B split there, but they decided to go for spawn. And it works out for them to get that initial pick, and it seemed like Fix did enough to get them back into the round, but ultimately SK Gaming winning the 2-on-2 there. A lifeline, perhaps, as we go into round number 20. It's going to be an all purchase for CTs. They're actually going in all in on this one. UMPs, M4, Deagle, and they're relying on the simple AWP. And you know what? I'm a believer. Like, the things this guy's done this game, you can't really argue with any decisions.
That is a factual statement. Cillian watching to make sure there's no aggression from that squeaky door. Simple right now at Z is looking into the mid garage. Molotov actually thrown, so that's interesting because that one's very easy to throw off the pillar. That's thrown from back where you would normally throw out the vent one, but it goes towards sandbags. Didn't even quite make it. It did spill it slightly in, which would have pushed out the player slightly, but more importantly that Arch still has this position and Simple can bait them in. It's just 2 players remaining. They've got vision on both. Good response though. Cillian, nice pickup. And this means Simple has to fade away from this because if he goes down on 26 HP right now, it's basically a 2 versus 2 with the defense split. So smart for Simple to rotate off that.
He spotted both players as well, so they've got a good read on to what's going on right here. It's up to the terrace to make the next move here. It looks like they will be favoring towards events. They have got the bomb. Going to be sticking together as well. Straight towards the checker room, but so there it is. Crushed towards the toxic area. He has spotted both of them drop out as well. He's got his grenades in hand, but probably just wants to get his next kill. It looks like Pimp will be aware this could be a possibility. So the bomb is on the site now, getting planted presumably. And he's planting for the checker room as well. So at least they've got a decent setup here to make this work out for them. Have the man disadvantage, but still, it's a strong setup to kick things off.
Damage being done by that Molotov. You can hear it. It's a flash up, but as they go over the top, Pimp's able to pick up 2 Simples, one of which it's down to the 1 versus 1, but it's immediately found as Fix drops to a Cillian. So it's 2 in the bounce for SK. Still 3 to go for worst players, and now the money's gone.
Well, definitely something to work for, or work with, I should say, for SK Gaming. Another 1 versus 1 situation does go in their favor, and that force buy. It looked like worst players had done enough there. The old player from Simple was working out for them, and it was this first kill from Arch. Magic Boy not even checking beneath that pipe, but they managed to recover. That's the main thing. There was a 5-on-3, in fact, so that's actually pretty impressive. 13-7 now, and it's going to be an eco for worst players. Still hasn't got to that scary point of the game where the comeback could be real just yet. It's going to be Modi to find the first kill on towards Villain. And this should be a very simple round indeed. They find the second kill, and they should be able to take over the B site now. As they drop in towards the checker room, Simple only has to silence USP, so not going to have too much impact here, surely. But I said that with trepidation.
Simple. Trying to find the shot. Can't get it with just the USP, so it's going to now be a B site open for business. Bomb going to go down in the hands of Freeze, and just Arch remaining, he'll look to try and do an exit kill, pick up a gun, and save it to the next round. Henry G. What do you see?
I see Arch. Over the CZ, that's all I see. But what could it be? Don't ask me.
Who could it be now?
Is that a song?
Yeah, I can't remember who sings that. Isn't it the Police? Yeah, it's the Police.
Sing it again?
So who could it be now? The Police sing, you know? I'm not singing it again. Pretty sure it's the Police.
Doesn't ring a bell to me, but anyway.
You're not a real fan.
Arch, CZ, Toxic, no kills. 13-8 though. SK Gaming. I'm making this a little bit more realistic now.
Right, who can it be now? See? The Police. I googled it.
Good job.
Thanks. Oh, it's Men at Work.
So, yeah, you're a real
Damn
fan.
it!
You are a real fan, you're right.
I'm right. I'm right, see? I'm always right,
I
Henry.
like it when people do that. Anyway. You even said, oh, look, I'm right. And then literally just looked at your phone.
Well, it literally came up as the Police, so obviously people Google it all the time.
Right, yeah.
And then when I clicked it, it corrected to that. So I was partially wrong.
Anyway,
I was definitely wrong.
this is a full 5-man attack towards the B side. We saw worst players try this out. Didn't really work out for them. Can fill in, hold them off. Here we go.
Ooh, that's a lineup, and he can't land it. He can't get the headshots. So frustrating. Does manage 1 kill out of it, but it's responded immediately, and Arch now going to take down Pimp. Does favor worst players. Cillian can't quite make the jump the first try, but Henry, he's got lots of time because there's no one inside of the site. Smokes off at the top of Heaven and on the connector toward Tree. Flash in. Don't tell me he's going to do this.
No, he's just getting himself
Smart.
to the left-hand side. He's going to be, the CT's just readjusting themselves. Smoke coming in just the left-hand side to give him a little bit of a tunnel to work through. And here comes the play now. Next kill will be very important indeed. Fix making his way to the side. Crush gets the first kill. Fix gets the second. Just going to be a Cillian now. Does get the lineup, but it's not going to be enough. 14th round has been gathered for worst players now. And that was a big one for SK Gaming. They decided to send all 5 players towards the B storage area. And as I said before, once you do that, you are fully committed to going pretty quickly to make the way to the sites. And do know if the exchanges. What do you want to say?
I was just saying, do you think they're avoiding Simple on A after the opening exchanges in the first 3 rounds?
Well, the thing is, Simple is the AWPer, right? You can't expect him to be in the same position
True.
every single map, every single round. I wouldn't say that'd be a viable call at all. But still, yeah, it may be possible. They were hoping to burst through. Even if he was there, he's the AWP, right? So they put the smoke down to burst through. They may be looking for him in that sense, hoping to stifle him behind that smoke. But here we go then. Round number 23. It's going to be 14-8 in favour of worst players after they to win round number 22. Fast round coming from SK once more. This time they're going towards middle. Simple, they boosted above that smoke. This could be very effective, and it is. He gets the kill. I love that boost. We don't see that enough, actually. It's the first kill, and it's a huge scalp to take. One of the best fraggers on the team is this boy. Taken down. Modi on the other side of the map. He is making his way towards checkers. So he'll just be sticking there. Like, he doesn't have to do too much now. He can just be the snake in the grass, as you would say. And we'll see whether he can actually find the next frag.
I do certainly like trouser snakes, as Simple's going to rotate back over toward A. No commitment toward that A main position right now from SK. A man down, just trying to play out the time, get some information and play potential on the picks.
Oh, yes.
As it is.
Modi's going to be so influential here. They should go towards A at this point.
Should they?
Yes. And then he can just listen out there. You can see there's 2 players on towards the B side of the CTs. If he can just get one of those to rotate, and then he can just come in the back and just get them as they are. His teammates are showing their hand towards A. That'd be amazing. It looks like they will be favouring towards B at this point. Sicilian in a really awkward duel.
Pimp, yep. That's so well read from Simple. That is so well read from Simple. He knows they've given up mid. Takes the shot out toward A and says, all right, if he's going to push me, he's going to push me right now. Crush going to close out 2 more, and it's going to be map point for Simple and worst players.
That's the money gone for SK Gaming as well. It's looking like they will be crashing out of this tournament. And pretty much dead last place, I guess, is the worst you can actually do.
It is dead last, not pretty much.
Yeah, okay, well, dead last place. And what can you say about that one? Going up to, like, well, to be fair, worst players, they may be a mixed team in the unknown quantity going into this one, but actually you've been very impressed with the way they're playing. It's not like it's just Simple carrying. They actually got fill-ins on 20 frags as well. They've been a really tight unit, to be fair. It's not just him. He is obviously the X factor, but it's going to be an A rush here to finish things off. I'm not really sure they're going to be winning this round. It's just going to be Arch with the shooting gallery.
And that's it.
GG.
SK is done in 4 straight maps, never once achieving double digits in any of those. As worst players do play well, it is going to be them moving forward. I don't yet know who they will play. Remember, double elimination all the way through. That is a nightmare for SK.
That's one of those shocking performances we've seen for them. And they've had some pretty ropey tournaments, and that's definitely the worst. Not hitting double figures in all 4 matches they played. They never really looked like they came to life. Obviously, Frizz coming out of injury. He comes back into the team. Cadian was fitting in from the minor. They didn't look great there, and I have to say they looked even worse. Frizz had a very poor tournament. Pimp wasn't great. He had a couple of good rounds, and there we are.
That is not us. That's us. They were much better looking, though. If you want to go back to them, we can just talk over them.
Yeah, we can do that.
They don't look like they've been esporting for.
We look at esports. We have been officially esports. Give us June off. We'll come back handsome again.
No, that's a lie. Give me June, July, August, September, November, December, October, and whatever else is in there. That's not the right order.
Yeah,
but one day I will get committed to coming back looking better.
Those guys have been esports. Anyway, so have SK. They've been esports officially by Simple. He was phenomenal. Like, it's really boring every single game just to talk about him. But what can you even... How can you disregard him, that kind of level of play? So many clutches, so many insane moments. The pistol round this time, your play and the retakes, it's just everything he was doing was phenomenal. SK crashed out the tournament, last place. We thought, just even after the performance against Hellraiser, we thought, okay, it was the first game of the day, maybe just getting warmed up before the game up against like the mix now, like the team we don't know too much about, which is Simple. Surely he can't carry them through a best of 3, but It wasn't like he fully carried, like I said.
That's exactly that. Because Fillin was great. Simple
Fix
had
was good
sort
as
of
well.
4 really good rounds that ended up making him top frag, where he got 9 kills in 2 rounds. But to be fair, they were all... that's great over those 2 rounds. That's all fine and well. And the pistol round was huge amount of impact, given that it was an ace. But the other ones are 4 really not that important kills on a mop-up round, anti-eco rounds. Whereas you could argue that Fillin was getting picks the whole way through. Fix had a couple of clutches as well. Yep. So in terms of impact, I think it was pretty evenly distributed across the team.
SK, if I was to say anyone played well for them, Magist Boy had some good moments. Like
he was quite upset at the end.
He was keeping them alive. I feel like the future of this team is going to be in question now. I feel like they've had so many disappointing results, and it doesn't seem like it's getting better.
I know the answer.
What is that?
Freeze offered me last year at ESWC to boot camp for 6 months.
Well, he was going to make you better?
And
I think he'd probably make you worse.
We were at the after party. There was some gin and tonics involved.
Okay,
but that was the plan, and maybe that's what they need to do.
I think he needs someone else to boot camp him right now. Obviously, he's had some injuries, but this is a really shocking tournament for him. That was like, like I said though, it's just basic CS they weren't really doing properly. Like their CT sides, I can see it myself. I'm not even a CS:GO player, right? And I was like, you can watch them play, and they're just being so passive. They're not actually doing anything to the CT side. As soon as they started being a little bit more mobile and dynamic and actually going for the aggressive picks, Pimp getting boosted up, for example, and then Frizz actually going aggressive towards A main, they're finding kills. That's what you need to be doing. And it just took them so long to get rolling, understand what they should be actually having to do to lock down this terrorist side. It was just too late at that point.
Well, on that note, we are going to take a short break, join back in with the desk. They've got lots of thoughts about it. Immediately after, we do jump into the hometown heroes. Na'Vi will start off their campaign against, I believe, Dobry and Gaming, if I'm not mistaken.
Former CSGO
Yes,
Lounge,
former CSGO Lounge. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back. We've got one more best of 3 coming up.
Welcome back to the esports pool analyst desk. SK have crashed and burnt. 2 16-8 losses against WP worst players, Simple's new squad. That was pretty tough to watch, especially after the game. SK looked extremely disappointed, extremely upset, and you were actually listening. We were all listening in to them speaking just now, and maybe you can give us some. I don't mean to put you on the spot and talk about what your friends have been saying, translate it necessarily bit for bit, but can you give us a rough idea of what they're talking about right now? Because they are going off. They're having a very intense conversation.
I wonder what. What could it be?
Well, they are obviously not satisfied, and
Wow.
Maybe a slight bit more detail than they're not
They're not
satisfied.
satisfied. Okay, they got 20
um,
rounds in.
how do we put this in smooth? They're just not happy with the mood, and they feel like some players are not living up to their roles because also that the mood is bad, so people talk less and they do not fulfill the things that they are supposed to do and so on. I don't really want to mention who said what and so on.
Of course. No, I was not meaning to start a room mill size, but to give the general idea of what's being said. I can tell just from hearing the tone, and obviously we saw physically things were not good. Anyway, Natu.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to be said? Just a horrible performance, basically. The first half, CT side SK, I guess, partially because of the mood, there was just a lack of adapting to anything, understanding the fact that if you're going to be a little bit aggressive, if you interfere with your opponent's way of playing before they actually get to do anything, you will pick up some rounds. That's pretty much how they got 5 rounds on the board, right? It's by pushing. They boosted up Pimp, he got 3 kills, for example. They pushed A main, they got a couple of kills. So that's the kind of dynamic you need to have there. And they just didn't understand, or they were tunnel visioning so hard. I guess everyone was like you said, the mood being just crap. Shit. Let's just say shit.
Yeah.
No one's going to be able to really think, thoroughly. And I think that's probably the big issue there.
Vendetta, can you expand a bit upon that and identify for everyone watching, if they didn't see, what exactly happened? We've got some highlights on screen as well. If you want to go through anything, just go ahead.
I mean, where to start? Didn't feel like anything at all really worked for SK Gaming. And as you said, they only found success when they were actually being proactive on the map. That was literally the only thing that they could fall back on. You even saw this horrid situation where you had a 4v2 in favor of SK, but I think it was Simple and might have been Fix, who was the other guy left. And they were kind of stuck in A main. SK knew where they were, and they somehow managed to fumble that into,
peeking, basically.
Yeah,
giving them the aim duels.
They're making the cardinal errors of CS players, really. And, this highlight reel is pretty much just like a nice showcase of all the mistakes that SK made. Overall, it's
Simple had 2 fantastic games, as far as I know. Caden, do you want to go through them? We can see on the screen he finished. I think that's the score for the second map.
Yeah.
Yes, 26 kills, 10 deaths. And in the first map, he fragged a similar amount, if not more, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he had like 30 plus on the
yes,
first
I think he did. Caden, please go ahead.
Well, he's insane. I mean, obviously his talent is undeniable, and he's really, really good. And he also strives in this kind of environment when the team is going, when the opposite team is going a bit on tilt, and when his own team allows him to do whatever he wants.
Oh my!
And yeah, just to take on the point as well, like obviously Simple was playing well, but also I saw Philin on the T side actually doing some really good lurking role, playing like this kind of passive positions, making sure that what you pinpoint on the earlier things that SK lacked in these kind of mid rounds was to maintain map control and have these guys who doesn't just over rotate to these kind of execute when you have the advantage. And Philin didn't do these kind of things, so that was a really well played half by him especially. And also to just take a look at what you mentioned, Halvar, with the 4-on-2 situation, like SK has been going out of this tournament with 0-4. Not managing to get double digits in any of the 4 maps.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're like been huge underdogs or anything. Like they've been a team with a reasonable chance of winning both games. In terms of like if you look at the players, at the rankings and so on.
Yeah.
So it's literally
I think Henry put it nicely. This is the worst tournament SK has ever had.
I don't think the minor was much better for them, to be honest with you.
But at least they look competitive in one of those games.
Yeah, against Epsilon.
Yeah.
Which should
could you say they
looked
looked competitive at this tournament?
I would say that they did not look competitive, and I would say less so than they did at Tour. I feel it's a shame, you know. Freeze has come back. He's obviously struggling with. He had a very invasive surgery into his hip, and he's come back, and on that second map, he had 6 AWP kills in comparison to Simple 7 kills overall. And that can't be. That must be very frustrating. I think it needs to be stressed slightly. That is, having surgery like that is pretty serious, and it can affect anything that we do in life. But I don't think he should just be. His performance should be based purely on his score. We need to keep in mind what's going on in his life as well.
Of course, but that would affect Freeze, but it wouldn't affect everyone else on SK.
Yeah, there's 4 others too.
And that's really where the issue is. And but by the same token, you don't win. You know, you win as a team and you lose as a team.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, you know, this is not Freeze's fault by any stretch of the
100%.
imagination. So this was just a collective failure from SK's side.
And actually, just to like. We're talking a lot of like, okay, SK has been having a bad tournament, and they obviously need to know, and people out there need to know that it's been really bad. But if I want to like point something out from standing behind them, I actually want to give credit to Magic Boy, because not only was he leading the charge in terms of fragging, but he was the only guy, from what I could hear, who was bringing the team up. Like, we can still do this. We're still in this. I remember, I think they were down 13-6, and they got a 1-2, a 2-1 or something. And one. And he was still being pumped. He was still trying to get them up there. And that is impressive from a guy who's been like a bit shaky in the beginning of his lanes, but he's really starting to show now that he is maybe not still as good as he is on LAN, but he's definitely not an onliner, and he can definitely perform very well on LAN, and to still be able to take other surroundings into consideration and bring the team up with the atmosphere and so on is something that from a young guy like him is really impressive.
Before we go into talking about worst players and what they did right, can you guys kind of give a final thought on where this leaves SK? Vendetta, do you want to start?
Where does it leave them? Roster change? Honestly, like this lineup has been so inconsistent for so long. They haven't found a good foothold anywhere, and you see that from, you know, they have a great tournament at Gfinity, and then they falter at the minors, and it's kind of been up and down like that, both online and offline, for them for the longest time. So at some point, maybe you just have to, you know, be honest with yourself and see that, well, this isn't quite working out the way we'd hoped it would.
Yeah, and I assume this kind of inconsistency also comes from what you two have really been pinpointing is like the lack of roles,
leadership.
The lack of people who's able to fulfill the leadership role, and all these kind of things, because that in the end mixes up, like that just gives up the thing. If you don't have a leader, if you don't have people who's able to bring up the team, you see teams being able to play without a 100% in-game leader. You see G2 having Shux, who's like, sometimes he's calling, sometimes Smits is helping. You see Flush obviously having the help from Vugo. You also see SK having a coach. So even though they lack a leader, they should still be able to make something work from this. And obviously, they seem demoralized. They seem not motivated. Yeah, I think a roster change is going to happen.
Yeah. So
Well,
because they need that general on the battlefield. As cheesy as it sounds, right? Like you need that one guy who can. It's like you said. When you get into a retake situation or a clutch situation, you just follow whatever the first guy who who says an idea. You follow that.
Yeah.
And if nobody's actually willing to take charge, even
And
by that
also,
small amount.
And also, when you practice, it's one of those things that you start building those little rules of thumbs. So in case this happens, we do this.
Yeah.
So in case you are in a 3-on-3, you get that kill, you instantly follow up on it and try to get, if there's another player there somewhere nearby, you just try to rush him and get the second kill right away. Because you're going to at least trade that unless you totally mock it up. So it seems like they are lacking so many fundamental things now. And it feels to me it's because of the atmosphere in the team seems to be totally off. And it's just something, I don't know if something's behind the scenes in the team has happened or if there's if people just don't like each other or something like that. Because it has been a very much up and down, right? It's only basically Sivo that has been a positive sign. Otherwise, it's been online results that they've been pretty okay. But then MLG qualifier, like we said, the minor was horrible. And this was obviously a total abomination. It does build up tension, right? So when all those things start connecting together, you can tell that this is the kind of outcome you can get in a team where even though you have players that understand the game very well, that know the fundamentals, and they have a lot of potential, and when you put these people together, it just does not work out at all. So I would not be surprised if we see a leadership change, but a roster change in general. That they definitely need someone to lead this group, to use these tools they have correctly.
We will just have to see in time then what happens with SK. Who knows, maybe Cadian will find his way back on the team. Maybe they'll stick together and keep trying. Are there any... Actually, no, before we talk about specific instances in the map, because I was going to ask if there were any rounds that you guys wanted to pick out. Let's talk about what worst players did right, because we should give them some credit for what they did and how they managed to control the whole series.
Absolutely, and I think they have a bit of two different sides of the spectrum. Obviously, SK coming off tours that didn't go the way they planned, they probably feel a tiny bit of pressure here as well.
Yeah.
It's not fun to be as inconsistent as they are, and then you have worst players who have absolutely no pressure whatsoever. They can play a very loose style, and you can tell that even though they've been together for a short period of time, they still had executes. You could tell the way they set up their A executes on cache there multiple times with varied smokes and everything. So, they have no pressure. They can kind of just feel out how the game is going for them and just take it from there. And that's a massive, oftentimes it's a massive boost, especially for young players who are just, I guess, wouldn't call it fully pug style mode, but, people who are, exceptional aimers.
Yeah. And I also feel like these 4 players, just because they get simple, doesn't mean that they're able to make a performance like this. I kind of feel like Jonte, the coach, also should have a lot of saying because... I don't know, they seem structured on some of the parts, and they seem to have the right switch of when to be able to make these fast rounds, when to be able to play slow. So he's not on the scoreboard, he's obviously still in the server, maybe spectating, but I kind of feel like Kritis needs to be put his way as well, because I know that he's a very clever guy, obviously been coaching Flipside as we talked about earlier, and yeah, I think I don't know, I have a feeling without understanding Russian that a big part of this success, at least in these 2 games, has been from him as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they had the basics of Counter-Strike where they had nailed them. And once they were attacking a bomb site on T side, for example, they were using their Molotovs and smokes and flashes and going together, making sure they were able to trade kills when they're at their bomb sites. So that's a good thing. That's a great start, obviously. And then we saw some individual plays there from across the board. But then on the other side of the spectrum, we saw situations where, in a 2-on-4, they make it a 2-on-3 towards the B bomb site. They want to boost up in the vent, and they can't decide which one is getting boosted up. In fact, there was a situation where CT was on the other side. If they had made it swiftly, they might be able to get that into a 2-on-2 because of a very really innovative. The idea was great. The execution was just horrible because they couldn't decide who was going to go.
The guy who dropped the bump, obviously needs to be boosted.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're not going to boost the guy with the bomb with 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's
We
actually
saw a
second
little
time they
both,
messed up a
both little
boost.
things there,
Yeah.
but obviously they do. I mean, you need something to beat SK after all, even though they
Yeah.
were playing horribly. So I mean, kudos to them individually, and they have the basics down, but not really sure how far further along they're going to be making it through this tournament, though.
Some, in a way, kind of surprise results then from WP. If you head over to egb.com, you might get some good odds on them. You can place a bet, win some money. Should we theorize a bit what could be happening next in this tournament? Firstly, though, have you got any rounds that you'd like to pick out from that match? If not, no?
I think we're just going to
We'll
move forward.
save it.
We don't want to. We want to save SK from this and
Sure.
move forward in
In,
life.
in which case, what we should do, potentially, let's say, I think what's going to happen, WP will play the loser of like the other side of the bracket, which has followed their sort of path. So let's say Na'Vi, Dobry lose that, and then flip
Obviously.
side, Godsend, flip side maybe, whatever, whoever lose that. It looks like they could end up playing Dobry. Is that a fair assumption at this point?
I actually think that I'm saying it out now. I think W is going to go 0-2.
Oh, against
Versus
they're gonna-
Navi?
I think they're going to lose to Navi.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I was,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was beginning to
Yeah.
wonder here.
Oh,
Wow, what a
bold
prediction.
prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And then I think they're going to lose to the loser of Flipside Godsend. I have a feeling. I don't know. They haven't shown
yeah.
to be really strong
Okay,
at land,
so in which case then, yeah, sorry, I did the math, the bracket slightly wrong. Then maybe Flipside or Godsend are going to be the people that end up playing against.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in which case, guys, could you theorize slightly about how that matchup would go? I would say in my head that unless WP can pull off something crazy, they're going to be coming up against teams that are slightly more structured than SK right now, and teams that are at a higher skill bracket. Like, for instance, Godsend. I don't think Godsend are going to lose against Flipside, so I would imagine it's probably going to be Flipside.
Thing is, now for WP, the problem against those two teams are they're both very structured teams, and they'll both have leaders, especially Pronox, obviously, who's pretty good at adapting usually. So I don't think they're going to go further than that if they end up meeting one of the two teams, really. I think it's probably going to be Flipside. I think Godsend should, even though what happened at the minor, I still do think that they should be winning Flipside. So I would guess that WP is going to face Flipside.
But also, somehow I guess it should be more favorable for them to play Flipside, since it is the domestic matchup, since they have the old coach of Flipside. I mean, but not a lot of things is talking for them, but if I need to find any, it should be something like that.
This is now, we're going to fairy tale land right now with this, but
Yeah.
Down the rabbit hole.
Oh, for sure. It's just interesting to look forward to see where the competition could go. And if you are not aware, the competition later, the final match that we will be doing, the final best of three, will be Na'Vi versus Dobry. And on the Russian stream, it will be Flipside versus Godsend. So two very stacked best of threes. And it is, again, to clarify, a tournament full of best of threes with a lower bracket. So it's double elimination. So we've got a lot of Counter-Strike to go over the rest of the tournament. And we will finish off today on our side of things, Na'Vi versus Dobry. Should we talk a bit about that matchup in detail? That should be, especially being in Ukraine, Na'Vi are the clear favourites here in terms of skill level, but also home advantage. Dobry, they haven't been looking too strong. If you're not aware, Dobry are former CSGO Lounge, so it's Innocent, Maniz, and those guys.
Yeah.
Run me through it, Cadian.
Well, obviously it's Maniz, Sparrow, Mouse, Innocent, and Micho.
Yes, Mihu, fantastic player, by the way. He got into the final of the 1v1 race.
What's your name?